All right, let's dive right in. We're going to talk about a problem that, let's be honest, drives almost everyone crazy. Teamwork that just feels unfair. You've been there, I've been there. But we're going to look at a really cool solution called SyncProject that's aiming to bring some serious transparency and accountability to the whole process.
Oh, yeah. This right here, is a universal feeling, isn't it? That moment you realize you're pulling an all-nighter while your teammates are, well, who knows what they're doing. It's that awful, sinking feeling that you're carrying the entire project on your back. And it turns out, there's a name for this exact feeling.
The phantom limb of teamwork. How perfect is that? It's this frustrating, nagging sense that a contribution is missing. You can feel the imbalance, but you can't always point to exactly what's wrong. And make no mistake, this isn't just a problem for students in a dorm room. This happens every day in the professional world, too.
So let's break down what's really going on here. The problem really boils down to two things that just poison group projects: inefficiency and inequity. When you don't have a clear system, you're pretty much guaranteed to get a toxic mix of both. And it creates this vicious cycle, right? The workload is all over the place, which means there's no real accountability. So of course, the project starts to drag and stall out. Meanwhile, the people who are actually doing the work get completely burned out and demoralized. And the worst part? The professor or manager has no real data to step in and make a fair call. It's just a total mess. But what if you could actually break that cycle? What if you could shine a bright light on the whole process? Well, this is where the source material introduces us to SyncProject, a system built from the ground up to bring some serious transparency to how teams work together. Okay, and this is really important. SyncProject isn't just another app you download. The source material is super clear about this. It's a process innovation. The whole point is to kill that ambiguity, to get rid of that phantom limb by making sure every single contribution is out there in the open for everyone to see. So how does it do it? Well, it stands on two main pillars. First, it uses a classic agile tool, a Kanban board. This makes it crystal clear what needs to get done, who's doing it, and how far along they are. No more confusion. And second, and this is the real game changer, it brings in a transparent 360-degree peer evaluation system. There's literally nowhere to hide. You know, a good idea is one thing, but how you bring it to life is everything. The team behind SyncProject really got this. They didn't just jump into coding, nope. They used a really smart human-focused process to make sure their solution wasn't just clever, but that it was also fundamentally fair. And that is so crucial. They basically took inspiration from two huge ideas. On one side, you've got design thinking, which is all about empathy. It's about really getting into the user's head and asking, what's the real pain point here? And how do we build something people will actually want to use? Then, on the other side, you've got the lean startup method, which is all about data and validation. It's about testing your assumptions to make sure your solution actually works in the real world and that people see it as fair. Now, here's the genius part. Instead of picking one, they blended them together to create this awesome hybrid they call collaborative lean design. It takes the heart of design thinking and combines it with the hard data of the lean startup. Let's see what that actually looks like in practice. So their process has 5 clear phases. It all starts with understanding. They dig deep into the user's frustrations to create what's called an empathy map. Then they define the problem and come up with a solution. In this case, a model for scoring contributions fairly. From there, they build a prototype, just a simple interactive version to test the core idea. And phase 4, measure, is where the rubber meets the road. They get real users to test it and collect actual data on whether people feel it's fair. Finally, they learn from that data, tweak the system, and plan the full rollout. It's this beautiful, constant loop of building, testing, and improving. So why go through all this trouble? Well, because the stakes are incredibly high. When you're building a system that evaluates people, you have to get it right. This process is crucial because it tackles the ethical risk head-on, making sure the system feels fair before it goes live. It also means you end up building something people will actually use, because you're solving a problem they really have. And it keeps the team agile, so they're not wasting time and money building something nobody wants. Okay, so that's the how. But what about the what? What does this actually achieve? Because SyncProject isn't just about making people feel better, it's about delivering real, tangible improvements to how teams perform. First up, the big one, fairness. The goal here is a 25% jump in how fair and equitable team members feel the process is. That's a huge deal. Next, let's talk speed. The aim is to boost efficiency by 15%. mainly by cutting down the time it takes to get tasks done. That means fewer bottlenecks and less wasted time. And this might be the most important one for keeping the peace. The goal is to slash the number of conflicts over workload by a massive 30%. Because the data is right there. Arguments about who's doing what just fade away. But really, this is about so much more than just numbers on a chart. For students, this is amazing preparation for the real world. For companies, it helps build a culture where trust and responsibility actually means something. And in this age of remote work, a system like this is practically essential. At the end of the day, it's about one simple thing: making sure that every single person's effort is seen and valued. So when you put it all together, what are we really looking at? This isn't just a new app or a different workflow. We're talking about a genuine cultural shift and what it means to collaborate. The source material absolutely nails it here. This is a cultural transformation. When you build transparency into your systems, you're not just tracking tasks. You're weaving accountability into the very DNA of your team. You're fundamentally changing how people work together. And this quote just perfectly sums up the whole philosophy. Real, meaningful innovation has to be human-centered, it has to be backed by data, and, most importantly, it has to be ethically conscious. It has to be built on a rock-solid foundation of fairness. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. What if we could actually get rid of that phantom limb feeling for good? What could our teams, our companies, our classrooms, what could they accomplish if every single person knew, without a doubt, that their work would be seen and truly valued? That's the future SyncProject is trying to build. Thanks for tuning into this explainer.